All right, welcome back to our CalFresh Enrollment Party document series. In this video, we'll be covering all of the different documents that'll qualify for proof of income, as well as all, all right. Welcome back to our CalFresh Enrollment Party document series. In this video, we'll be covering all of the different documents that'll qualify for proof of expenses, as well as some common scenarios that may require a self-written statement. Before we continue, if you haven't watched the first video in our series yet, we highly recommend that you do so before continuing on with any of the other videos. But with that, let's move on to proof of expenses. Proof of expenses primarily refers to housing-related expenses, and so for our purposes, we've split them into two broad categories, on-campus housing and off-campus housing. If you live in any of the dorm communities or graduate and family housing, you can access your proof of expenses through your Zot account, and we'll have a quick tutorial on how to do that coming right up. If you live in any of the ACC apartments listed below, you should be able to access a copy of your lease agreement through your resident portal, and we'll have a quick tutorial for that as well. And if you happen to live off campus, you'll need to access and submit a copy of your lease agreement. If you're unable to access a copy of your lease agreement or have a special consideration, please take a look at the self-written statement templates we have available towards the end of this video to see if your situation may be covered. If it's not, please email us at calfresh@uci.edu and we'd be happy to help. With that, we'll first do a very quick Zot account tutorial. The instructions on how to access your Zot account are also listed here on the right, so if you'd like to pause the screen and follow the instructions, please feel free. With that, you'll first want to head over to Zot account and input your student ID number. Please make sure it's your ID number, not your net ID. And afterwards, typically you will be prompted to include your net ID and password as well to log in. However, because I did log in a little bit earlier today, it did take me directly to Zot account. So please make sure to keep that in mind when you're logging in. But with that, on the left side, you'll want to look at where it says prior Zot statements. And with the dropdown, select any particular month that you happen to pay rent in. So for the purposes of this sample, I'll just be picking any month. But for you, you should select a month that you paid rent for, since that will be the transaction you need to submit to the county. And then you'll want to click View, and you should see a couple of different things come up. So first, at the very top, it should say your full name as it's registered with the university. Please make sure that it's your name listed here. And towards the bottom, you'll see a list of where it says past due transactions. Typically, you will also see if you happen to pay rent for this month, you should see a pop-up under past due transactions as well. Unfortunately, I do live off campus, but the Zot account profile should look exactly the same, minus that one extra line item. So if your Zot account page does contain both your name and the monthly breakdown of rent, all you need to do is take a screenshot of this page. Please make sure, again, that your name and the transaction is included, since that's what the county will need to document your proof of expenses. Now let's go back to the slide deck. So moving right along, we'll also move on to a ACC resident tutorial. Again, the instructions are here on the right, so if you'd like to pause and follow the instructions, please feel free. But first, you'll want to head over to the website listed here. And once you're logged in, you'll be taken to a page that looks like this. From here, if you have an active lease, you should be able to click the button where it says Leases. Now, something to note is once you click this button for the first time, it may take you to an error screen. All you need to do is go back to the home page, click it again, it should sort itself out. And if it did sort itself out, you should see something that looks like this. From here, what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to your current lease and click the lease number. It is redacted for this example, but there should be a number listed there that you're able to click. And once you click that, first it should show up like the left side of the screen. So the left side shows a lease summary where if you scroll through, it'll contain your name, monthly breakdown of rent. The most important thing from the lease summary is at the very bottom, there will be a copy of your full lease agreement. So please make sure to click that, and it should take you to your lease. Now, same thing as the Zot account statement. If your lease has your name and a monthly breakdown of rent listed on it, you're good. You can download the entire lease agreement and submit it as your proof of expenses. Now we'll go over some common scenarios for proof of expenses that may require a self-written statement. Some of the most common scenarios include not being formally listed on the lease. If the monthly rent listed on the lease is actually split between you and a number of other housemates. If your rent is covered in part or in full by someone else, for this particular scenario, your self-rent statement will actually also count as proof of income as well. We'll go over that in a bit. And the final common scenario is if you use financial aid to cover your living expenses. Now, if you don't see a particular situation listed, please note that this list is non-exhaustive. If you have a question about your particular situation or would like us to check your self-rent statement, please feel free to email us again at calfresh@uci.edu. But we'll go on to our first sample template that we have here for today for proof of expenses. If you are not listed on the lease, you do need to submit a self-rent statement in addition to the lease agreement as well, and a screenshot of your bank statement showing how much you paid in rent. All of this is required for proof of expenses if you are not listed formally on the lease. For proof of expenses, specifically if you happen to split rent with other housemates, you will also need to let the county know exactly how much you pay for rent as opposed to everyone else in your household. Specifically for this scenario, you should also submit a copy of your lease agreement and a screenshot of your bank statement as well to show how much you paid in rent. As a reminder, even if you split rent with other housemates, you do not need to apply with them as long as you don't buy, share, or prep food with them. So even if you split rent, the county's main consideration is really if you buy, share, or prep food with your housemates. Next up, we have proof of expenses for if your rent is covered by someone else. And so very similar to the proof of income self-rent statement, you'll list where you currently live, the amount that you receive from the person to help pay for rent, as well as a screenshot ideally of the bank statement showing that. Something to note is this self-rent statement will only apply if the money you receive enters your specific bank account. If the person helping you, for example, a parent, handles rent entirely on their own without the money entering your bank account, so it's processed just in theirs, you won't need to report it and you won't need to write this self-rent statement. But with that, that's everything that we need to cover for proof of expenses. We'll move on to the financial aid offer letter.